certainly here at Notion, where we invest solely in software businesses, about 75% of the money that we give founders goes on salaries of the people that they hire. So it's really important that they get it right. The remaining 25% goes roughly on office and marketing. So it is the single most important thing that they can consider. And I think the lessons I've probably seen are cost versus investment. If you're looking at game-changing hires, they're going to be really expensive. They're probably going to be the single biggest outlay you've made as a founder to that point. That's not, in accountancy terms, a cost. That's an investment. What are you going to get out of them? And I think one of the lessons that I've certainly seen is founders realizing that and coming to the conclusion that 150k basic spent on a game-changing chief revenue officer is not the same as 50k times 3 on 3 mid-level salespeople. Not to say that there's not a place for mid-level salespeople, there absolutely is. But you can't measure like for like on that, because your 150k basic chief revenue officer might 10x your revenue in the first year, and your 3 mid-level people are probably not going to do that, although they will help the growth. So it's really looking at cost versus investment, I think, is a really important kind of lesson for founders to know. Imposter syndrome is an interesting one. I think sometimes for founders that can feel really uncomfortable if they're hiring, say, a chief product officer, and the thought is, if I hire a really great chief product officer, the product team that's existing are going to realize that I didn't know what I was doing until this point. And I sort of feel like, as a founder, if you're making a game-changing hire, if you don't feel like that, if you don't have a moment of imposter syndrome in the hiring process, you're not hiring the right person, or you need to go back out to market and look again, because you should be feeling a bit nervous that this person is going to come and show you up. And the reality is also that the really great people, the really great game changers, won't show you up anyway. They'll be very constructive about the way that they help you work as a team to build on any shortfalls within the business.
So by startups moving to the cloud, they can really help differentiate their business without not having to focus on spending all their capital on technology installations that are not necessary today. We're very passionate at AWS on making sure they understand how to architect the most efficient way, using best practice, to enable them to scale efficiently over the long period of time. We encourage all startups to go through the process of engaging with AWS and really talk to us about how to optimize their architecture for long-term scale. We have a great program called the Well-Architected Framework, which we encourage companies of all sizes actually to engage and go through, which is a consistent approach for startups to evaluate how well they're performing against that in terms of operational procedures and security, amongst other things, and allow them to implement designs which will really enable them to differentiate their business from their competitors. A lot of the startups that I talk to face massive challenges, not only finding the right candidates with the functional skills, but obviously finding the right people that fit the culture of the business. And it's a challenge for organizations of all sizes, Amazon all the way to a very small startup. And so it's fundamental, we feel, that startups find the right candidates for their first hires in the business, that they're really mind-blowingly game changers in that sense, because if they are, then they'll set the tone and the bar for the hiring process that follows that. So to maintain that hiring bar longer term, you need to make sure that the first hires are exceptionally talented and are the right cultural fit for your business.
I think after what we've said about founder experience and chemistry and repeat pedigree, we have this overt mission that we want to go and hire large amounts of people on this project and execute, and maybe get large amounts of companies to get to this, join this platform. And then you get to the contractual negotiation parts. Apart from the fact that founders take it far too long to actually reply and get their, if you like, their paperwork, their proposition, the written offer together. The big picture becomes the small picture when they start to sort of paying themselves over £10,000 or £20,000 or £30,000. I think the most that we've had is a founder that spent 80% of their entire gross margin on one hire, which turned out to be a fantastic hire, grew 1,200% in the next 12 months. And so it's thinking about the value that you can attribute to the hire, not the cost that you're going to attribute to the hire. It's thinking about that when you might run out of money 2 months earlier, but what's your trajectory going to be when you're running out of money? You know, if that's 2x, 3x than hiring B players or C players, or distributing that money across 3 or 4, let's say, salespeople, rather than hiring a game changer, well, then you're going to raise a lot less money. It's going to be harder to raise. You're going to raise it at a much lower price. I mean, the reason why you're hiring a game changer is because you want to go on this mission. You want to build a big company. It's not because you want to worry about 10, 20K.